Welcome to Stanislaus Football Weekly, and now for your hosts, Joe Cortez and Brian Vanderbeek.
Hi, welcome to the show. I am indeed Joe Cortez, but this is not Brian Vanderbeek, as you can see. It's Ron Agostini filling in for Brian.
Yeah, pinch hitting for Brian Vanderbeek.
Ron Agostini. Hey, we've got a lot to talk about this week, Ron. The league races are starting to kind of take shape as we hit the midway point in the season. So let's jump right into that. Let's start with the MMC, the Modesto Metro Conference. As you remember, our preseason poll had Downey, Grigori, and Modesto predicted 1, 2, 3.
We're more or less on pace there for
Right.
that one, I think. We've already had one huge game last week when Downey beat Modesto 35-32. Grigori is 4-1 right now, and they've got big games coming up. They play Davis Friday night, and then they play Modesto next week. So Davis, coming off the off date, has two big games coming up. So the league race will start to sort itself out. I've been impressed, Joe, by the excitement of the games here in the city this year.
They've been good.
They've been very good. You had an OT game last week.
Right.
I had a real good game between Modesto and Turlock a couple weeks back.
Right.
When Modesto beat them after Turlock had beaten Clovis West. No small potatoes there. And then last week's game, Modesto versus Downey. 3,500 people at Downey Stadium, Chuck Hughes Stadium. And Jeremy Pla, the Downey coach, said that was the most electric atmosphere he has seen at Downey in his time there.
Yeah.
And I would agree with him. It was an incredible scene.
Two exciting teams.
And it came down to the end. And one thing that caught my eye, Joe, as Modesto was driving down toward either a winning tying field goal or a winning touchdown at the end of the game, the student sections on both sides of the field went to that end zone on the north end. The Downey and Modesto kids were sitting on the southern end there. So they had to go across the field, across the track. They were like sprinting on the track to
The
get
length
to
of the field.
Yeah, to get to that north end zone where the game would be played out. And so we knew one thing, Joe. One of these groups of kids were going to storm the field at the end of the game. And it turned out to be Downey storming the field after they held on fourth down in the final seconds. It was really a great game.
It sounds like a great atmosphere.
It was great atmosphere. Good to see for the MMC.
So Downey's 2-0. And look who else is 2-0. Enoch's. After that 0-4 start, the Eagles have kind of gotten back into the picture here a little bit.
That's
they
right.
had a rough preseason going 0-4, but they played some really tough teams.
They did. They were picked to finish fourth by the coaches in conference, and who knows? I think they might improve on
I like
that.
their chances to get in the playoffs here.
They have a big homecoming game this week.
Let's move to the CCC. The CCC gets underway with league play this week.
That means everyone started this week, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We will be in league play all across. Predicted order of finish this year in the CCC by our coaches was Merced, Turlock, and Buhack Colony. Do you still like that?
Yes. I'll go along with that. Although we have seen improvement, though, David Pittman was picked to finish fifth.
And they're undefeated,
and they
4-0.
That's right. So
it's exciting.
To be continued.
Right. The VOL is the next biggest league in our district, but let's put that one on the back burner for a minute, okay? Because that one's, I think, the most interesting of the lot. Let's move to the WAC, where Patterson, Pacheco, and Los Banos were picked 1, 2, 3. I like that, but we've got a dark horse emerging in that race, don't we?
Yes, we do, and it's very fun to see. The Livingston Wolves have not had great success in football in recent years.
Recently.
1-9 last year. Chris Lacey, the veteran coach, stepped down, and in his place this year is Alex Gonzalez. And he installed a spread offense this year, and lo and behold, Livingston is 5-1, and they've won 5 straight since an opening loss to Hillmar.
They're this close to being 6-0.
Yeah.
They lost 10-7.
That's right. They lost
week 1 or week 0.
That's right. And here they are. They defeated Ceres, I believe, last week. Gonzalez is an interesting story. He's a Livingston product.
Right.
He was a flyback with Livingston there in the late 1990s. He was on staff, I understand, until a few years ago. And he went away to coach soccer. Mm-hmm. Now he came back to be the head coach, and this is what he wanted to do. This is what he told me before the season started, is to be the head coach of the football team. And they're rolling right now with a third-year varsity quarterback, C.J. Avila. CJ broke his ankle and played only 3 games last year, but he has come back this year, and he's having a wonderful year. Avila has passed for 863 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's rushed for 215 yards and 3 touchdowns. His little brother Eddie Avila is rushed for 5 touchdowns, and that spread offense is rolling.
It sure is.
It is. That's nice to see, from 1-9 to 5-1. Now they'll get the test this week, though. I think they play Pacheco this week, right?
They do.
Yes, and so that'll be a major exam for Livingston, but nice to see.
It is. It is good to see. Moving on to the Trans Valley League, the TVL gets underway this week. Predicted order of finish there was Ripon, Hilmar, and Escalon. Well, that's been blown up.
That has. That's completely different. Ripon was picked to win, but they've never got off the ground really this year.
No, they just have 1 win.
Yes.
Hilmar has struggled. Hilmar's 2-3. They lost a lot of talent.
Hilmar
have a strong running game this year,
yes,
which allows team to kind of focus on Jonathan O'Brien.
Yes. Hilmar's lost some very close games this year, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Escalon is still where we thought they'd be with Mark Lorero. They're at they're 3-2, and then we've got a couple of dark horses there.
Yes, Modesto Christian's one of them,
and Houston is the other.
Yes. So we don't know yet about the TVL. They're about to tell us now when they get their league underway. But it's that can be a very intriguing race. Modesto Christian, Joe.
Yeah.
They are truly the fighting few this year.
That's right. 18 players, I think, they suit up.
That's right. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, but they're 1 point away from being undefeated this year. They lost to Capital Christian of Sacramento. Cap Christian, of course, is ranked in Cal High Sports' state playoff bowl as the number 3 team in Division 4, behind Central Catholic and McClymonds, the 2 teams that played in last year's NorCal Bowl. So you can kind of tell Cap Christian is a good program. MC nearly knocked him off week 1.
That's right. And Coach Parsons at MC, I think, has made a little bit of a difference. I have to laugh. Brian Vanderbeek was filmed Modesto Christian taking the field before the game.
Yeah.
And if you blink, you miss them.
You miss it. Yeah, you do. As they come out through their helmet, these players run onto the field and then they're done.
They're gone.
And you think, that's it?
That's it. They're on the field.
Let's move to the Southern League, where this race is probably as wide open as any we've got. Mariposa and LeGrand were the top 2 picks. They've got off to an uneven start this year. Ripon Christian started 4-0 before losing last week to LeGrand. And Oristemba and Gustine are both making noise. They're 4-1. What do you think here?
I really don't know. I have not seen any of those teams there, so I really don't know what to think. I would expect Mariposa to be a factor here from here on in.
Well, Mariposa is going to get Oristemba this week. That's going to be a big game.
Yeah.
I believe that's in Newman.
Yes.
Checking my notes, it is in Newman. So we've got RC, Oristemba, and Gustine at 4-1. Mariposa and LeGrand at 3-2. And of course, Mariposa, they returned a lot of players. They were the overwhelming favorite. And LeGrand is the 4-time defending Division 5 Sac Joaquin section champion.
Great pedigree there at LeGrand.
It's wide open. And then, of course, the CCAA, Brookside Christian was the overwhelming choice. I think that's going to hold up. We've got Big Valley Christian. Stone Ridge Christian is making some noise as well there. So we talked about these leagues. Let's talk a little bit about the players who play in these leagues. We've tried to spread it around and see as many teams as we can this year. Who has really resonated with you so far?
Well, there's been a couple of players that have caught my eye. Jay Green of Bayer has rushed for like 688 yards and 8 touchdowns. He is a very good player. Win or lose for Bayer. If you go out to watch Bayer, you'll notice Jay Green right away. He's really good.
But you'll also notice Caleb Salfeld of Bayer High School.
Yes. Bayer's kind of fun to watch. They are, whether they win or lose. Another player who's really has impressed me the last couple of weeks is just a little guy from Downey, Jacob Magana. He's only 135 pounds. He's one of the Downey team captains, but he plays a lot bigger than that, Joe.
Yeah.
He intercepted 3 passes against Bayer, and that's how I noticed him. And then last week he did everything other than just sweep the bleachers after the game. He had a truly amazing performance in this game. 3 big kickoff returns. won for a touchdown that eventually were the deciding points in the game. An interception in the end zone to stop Downey's early threat in the game. And then he caught the shortest Hail Mary pass I have ever seen. At the end of the last play of the half, he caught an 18-yard, a pure Hail Mary in the back of the end zone. Everybody goes up there by the goal post. Magana has the wherewithal to catch the deflection, keeping his feet in as he fell out of bounds there over the end line. I mean, it's just a very athletic play. You can be, whether you're 135 pounds or 250 pounds. That was a great football play. And he did that all night long for Downey. They would not have won that game over Modesto without him.
Downey's got some really good players. Of course, quarterback P.J. Wilson is as electrifying a player as the MMC has.
Yeah. Great duel with Nate Phillips, the Modesto quarterback.
The Modesto High quarterback. Yes. He's right there when you talk about the excitement quotient. Isaiah Larry?
Isaiah Larry's a sophomore. I met his father this week at the Modesto Quarterback Club. Exciting player. He was a former, if you follow youth football, he was a big star for the Modesto Broncos, and he's taken it right to Downey this year. And there's a star in the making there.
Staying with that Modesto Downey game, Will Gallo.
Yes,
another exciting player. He's, I think, second in the Sac Joaquin section.
Yes,
with 9 sacks.
Yeah, Will Gallo's a great two-way player in the MMC and in the section. He was limited last week in the big game against Modesto. He had a bad ankle. Played a lot of defense, but he couldn't cut. And so he played just a little bit on offense, but still scored a touchdown pass, caught a touchdown pass in the second half. Who knows? That game may have changed a little bit if Gallo was 100%. Big if, obviously. But Gallo's a big-time player in the conference.
I'm still really high on Sean Munoz. I think he's a wonderful quarterback for Enox. Talolo Limu Jones, Davis High School, the 6'5", 210-pound receiver, defensive back. He's a wonderful player. There's been a lot of excitement in the MMC this year.
Yeah, it is. I think the MMC has taken a step forward this year. I'm looking forward to see how the rest of the league plays out.
Okay, we still have to get back to the VOL.
We're going to wait.
We're going to get there. Let's move into our predictions.
Okay.
And we'll save our VOL prediction for last, and then we'll kind of talk about that league.
All right.
Starting in the MMC, we've got Bayer versus Enox over at Chuck Hughes Stadium. Who do you like?
That's a homecoming game for Enox. They've got those distractions coaches like to talk about. A couple minimum days. Powder activity. Puff game. Yeah. They make a big deal out of that at Enox. So they'll have to, there'll be a lot of excitement for Enox. That's a pretty close game. I'll go with Enox.
So will I.
Yeah.
I like Munoz. I like Eddie Alderson.
Yes.
Just an electrifying player who Jim Silva first brought to our attention in week 0. I like the Eagles there. Davis versus Grigori over at Don Lanphier.
Boy, that's a good game, Joe.
It is.
Davis
coming off the bye.
Yes. I've not seen Grigori yet, so I don't know. Tyler Janet's a nice player for Grigori, nice athlete, good baseball player too.
Basketball player as well.
Yes. I'll hang with Grace Davis on this one.
I'm going to go with the Spartans as well. Coming
off the week off.
Coming off the week off, I like what they've got.
Yeah.
Okay, Somerville versus Sonora at Bud Castle. I know neither of us have seen these teams, so we're just going on comparative scores, things like that. I like Sonora. They're undefeated. They're the #1 team in our small school rankings. Somerville's about the last chance anybody has to knock them off.
And that is a league game.
It is.
It is a league game. Sonora's in the Mother Lode this year. I'll take the Wildcats. They're
at Bud Castle this week.
Yes, that will be a very emotional game, though. It will be. But I'll take Sonora playing on the hillside there.
And Somerville has played its home games at Sonora while its stadium has been under renovation.
That's right. Busy place.
On to the Southern League, Mariposa versus Oristimba. Now this is Mariposa, the favorite to win against Oristimba, one of the dark horses. It's in Newman. Who do you like there?
I thought Oristimba's been all right so far this year. After they lost their star player Machado last year, he graduated, and it was really a heartbreaking thing to see for a football heartbreak. I'll go with Oristimba in that one.
I'm with you again. I like Oristimba.
Why are we agreeing so much?
I don't know what the deal is. We got to fix this. They're the invader from the Trans Valley League. They've moved to Southern League under realignment. I like Oristimba. And as Aaron Souza says, this league is wide open.
It's wide
That's
open.
the Oristimba head coach. Escalon at Houston. Now, we thought a couple of weeks ago this was going to be the record breaker for Escalon coach Mark Lorero, who has the all-time section wins record in his sights. Escalon lost at Bear River last week, so this won't be the record breaker. But still, it's a big game.
It's a big game. I kind of like Escalon. This is an old rivalry going back many, many years. I kind of like Escalon to come back and win that game.
Okay, you brought it up that we had been in lockstep. I'm going to break stride. I'm going to go with the Huskies in this one.
Okay.
I think they're for real. Pacheco at Livingston. And this is another big test for the Wolves.
That's right.
And Pacheco is one of the teams that everybody thought would be playing for the WAC title. They thought it would come down to Pacheco, Patterson.
Yeah.
Livingston has stuck its nose in there. Who do you like in this one?
That was an extremely close vote in the WAC this year. I think Patterson got the nod by like 1 point. It was very close between Patterson and Pacheco. And this is the how good are you week for Livingston. I think it's going to be Pacheco. I kind of like Pacheco in that game, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'm going to go with Pacheco. Now, on to our VOL game.
We finally got to the VOL.
Oakdale versus Manteca on Saturday at Levi's Stadium. It's part of a high school quadruple header over Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, Manteca was supposed to play Wilcox at the start of the season
at Levi's Stadium.
At Levi's Stadium, and because of the turf fiasco there at Levi's, all the plans were called off, and they had to reschedule everything. And it's still the Manteca Oakdale game is a Manteca home game, so they opted to play this game at Levi's.
They did. Not everybody would have.
Dave Bacigalupi, the Oakdale athletic director, indicated to me that if Oakdale had the call, they would probably play that game in the corral. And I could see both sides of that argument, though. I think Eric Reese at Manteca wants a very special
that's
experience.
What he said. He said it was too big of an experience to pass up.
That's right, and I can see that. I can see that side of it too. But they are going to play at Levi's Saturday, so. It's kind of a special day for the team.
And that's part, like I said, that's part of a quadruple header. Santa Clara versus Wilcox at 5 on Friday. Elk Grove versus Jesuit at 8. Then on Saturday, Oakdale Manteca at noon, followed by James Logan of Union City against De La Salle at 3 p.m. So those Oakdale Manteca fans want to stick around and see.
You bet there'll be some
one
good
of the best
football.
teams in the nation.
And the turf will be in much better shape. We saw on Sunday Phil Dawson kicked 5 field goals off that turf is the only reason the 49ers won. So the turf's ready to go now.
Now, looking at the VOL coaches poll, we had Central Catholic picked to win the league.
Yes.
Oakdale was picked second, followed by Manteca and Sierra. Well, that's been kind of flipped on its head a little bit.
It already has. Sierra beating Central Catholic last week changed things a little bit. Sierra apparently has found a quarterback. That would be the big question for them. And that is a basic 4-team race. Don't get too many of those.
No.
But that is a legit 4-team race. And we'll see it shake out. We're already starting to see some indications that these teams might start knocking each other off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Central Catholic got Manteca 2 weeks ago. Then Central had to come back and play Sierra the very next week. Now, Oakdale has Manteca this week, and then Oakdale gets Sierra the following week.
Right. There's actually an advantage, isn't there, Joe, with the scheduling for Sierra?
Sierra gets kind of a weaker VOL opponent in between these big matchups involving Manteca and Oakdale and Central Catholic. So it's kind of teed up nicely for them.
Yes.
And as you know, Sierra is kind of on that bubble right now. They could be put into the Division III playoffs, or they could be bounced down to Division IV. It just depends on how it all plays out with the other section qualifiers. But they're firmly on the bubble right now.
They are. Jeff Harbison's done a nice job at Sierra over the years, and looks like he's got his team ready here for a real tight VOL race.
Sierra, of course, is 5-0 and ranked number 1 in the Bees large school rankings, followed by Oakdale, 5-0. Central Catholic is 3-2 and ranked 3rd. Of course, Central's losses have been to Sierra by 3 points and St. Mary's of Stockton by 5. And then in 5th place is Manteca. So our rankings are dominated by VOL schools.
Yes, Central Catholic's been through it the last couple of weeks. They've played a major schedule there with the Holy Bowl game against St. Mary's, which Central Catholic easily could have won. and
Right.
and then the tough loss last
And you
week
staffed
after
that.
beating Manteca.
You staffed the Holy Bowl.
Yes, I did. Excellent game.
Okay, time for the pick on this game. Oakdale versus Manteca on a neutral field. It's Manteca's home game, though.
It is Manteca's home game. I'm going to go with Oakdale on this one. I think Manteca struggled a little bit last week against Lathrop. Maybe they were kind of,
They were a little dinged up.
kind of dinged up.
They were a
and
little dinged up.
a little hurt, and maybe looking forward to Oakdale a little bit. So I think Oakdale's ready for this game. I'll take the Mustangs in a very close game.
Okay, we're back in step. I'm going to go with
Okay.
the Mustangs as well.
Okay.
I think they could be our number one team. We're going to have to wait and see how that game plays out, but I think they're better than Manteca by a half step.
Okay. Well, we've got a second half of season to figure this out, don't we?
Yeah. Hey, I want to clean up something here. I called Sonora Heights Field Bud Castle Field.
Yes.
That's the basketball gym.
That's the gym. Yes.
They play at
Dunlavy Field on the hillside there. Beautiful place for a game, as we know.
wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. So that's it.
Have we covered it all, Joe?
I think we've covered it all.
All right.
Another edition of Stanislaus Football Weekly is in the rearview mirror. Hey, be sure to join us each week, and be sure to check out all the content at modb.com. We've got photo galleries, we've got videos, stories, of course, and we've got the league pages. You can check out the standings and schedules. You can find that by going to modb.com/mmc or /VOL. And then be sure to join me each Tuesday at 7 p.m. for a live football chat. Although this week I had to move my chat to Wednesday because of I'm staffing a volleyball game. And then join us each Friday night after the games for the Pigskin post-game wrap, where we kind of summarize all the action on the field.
When we're really tired, late Friday night or Saturday.
It's actually early Saturday
It's
morning.
Early Saturday morning when we tape that.
When we feel that.
So we apologize if we look a little weary.
A little haggard
Yes.
and worse for the wear. And remember, you can always still buy a newspaper.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Still buy the newspaper.
You know, a newspaper is still the best value, I think, of anything on the market.
I'm old school, but I like
You know,
that.
think of all the stuff you get every day
At your fingertips.
for a few quarters.
That's right. Not bad. Not a bad deal at all.
And so for Ron Augustini, I'm Joe Cortez. And as Brian Vanderbeek likes to say, go enjoy some high school football. But before you do, enjoy this photo montage brought to you by our wonderful photographers here at the Modesto Bee. See you next week.
Yeah.